respected seniors and dear friends. Today morning only we were discussing on the Anesthetic Society task group about anesthesia concerns in COVID recovered patient. One of my friend, Dr. Vivek Kamath, asked me on WhatsApp, what should we do when some patient comes who is recovered from COVID and he or she is posted for some surgery, how long we should wait, and what are the investigation we should advise before surgery. That's why I looked in literature and didn't found any specific guidelines. So I put that query on task group, and we had some discussion. So basically, if we look at current data, COVID-19 data in India as well as in world. In India, there are 17 lakh cases as per today, and out of those 17 lakh, roughly 11 lakhs are recovered. And if we look at the world data, there are 1.77 crore cases, and out of those 1.11 crore are recovered. So there is huge number of patients who are recovered from COVID. That is good, but those patients, out of those patients, many will come to us for surgery. And if you look at any guideline for such surgery, there is no clear-cut guideline as of now. As we don't have any guideline, we have to go according to our current understanding of COVID pathophysiology. So if we understand the pathophysiology of COVID, if we understand the disease course of COVID, we can have some idea how to proceed for those surgeries. So this is not a guideline, and we will try to look at the current understanding of pathophysiology, and I have prepared this presentation and hope it will help to all of you to take decision in such cases. So according to this presentation, you can prepare your guideline for your institute and follow those guidelines accordingly. So if I give some example, this is case 1. This is a real case. He was a 30-year male patient and came for brain surgery. And according to our institutional protocol, we did HRCT on OPD base only. And we found that there was some changes, COVID changes in that HRCT. So we advised RT-PCR, and unfortunately it was positive. Patient had no symptom. Actually, patient came from COVID hotspot area. He was from Surat, where there were many cases at that time. So patient got infection from there, and he came to our place for surgery. Patient was RT-PCR positive, so we postponed the surgery. We explained the things to the patient. Patient was stable, so we could wait for surgery. It was not an emergency surgery. After detection of COVID positive, patient remained asymptomatic. Patient had no symptom at all. So after 14 days, patient came back again and asked us when should he go for surgery. So we were confused when to advise the patient surgery, and we will discuss how to do it. This is second patient. This is 45-year female patient with breast malignancy. Unfortunately, before surgery, patient became COVID positive. Patient was admitted in ICU, and patient required ventilation. Fortunately enough, patient recovered from all those things, and now patient wants to go for surgery. That is like a semi-emergency surgery. So how we should proceed? We should allow surgery or we should wait? So I went into literature again. I didn't find anything specific guidelines. So I thought some logical things, and I divided the patient in two type of patient. First type of patient, first case is asymptomatic patient or with mild symptom. So in those cases, we can have some liberty, and in patient with severe disease, like a patient required ventilation, we have to think before giving consent for surgery. So disease course for severe disease, if we think of disease course in such cases, who get severe disease, patient develop ARDS. In COVID patient, lungs get involved. Initially, we required some oxygen supplementation with ventimask. Then we required non-invasive ventilation with BiPAP or with high flow oxygen. And if patient doesn't recover, we have to go for ventilation, full-fledged ventilation. In such cases, there will be some problem of lung even after recovery. Sometimes patient goes into sepsis, septic shock, where you required pressure support. Acute cardiac injury is very common. Recently published data shows that almost 70-80% of the patient have some myocardial changes. Myocardial inflammation remain there even in the post-COVID period. And in certain patients, like 15-20% of the patient, there is significant damage, and there is a rise in cardiac enzymes, and it pictures looks like AMI. So in such cases, there will be significant cardiac dysfunction. There might be acute kidney injury, sometimes liver injury, and coagulopathy is also very common. Patient goes into pulmonary embolism, DVT, and such patients required LMWH also. So in severe disease pattern, you will find all these things, and these things will continue even in the post-COVID period. So if we look at the long-term sequelae, there is not enough literature, but there are some data which is available, because this disease is not for long time. It is for 7-8 months only. So there is not enough data, but whatever data we have, it shows that blood clotting problems like coagulation problem remain in the post COVID recovery time also. Patient has increased chance of stroke, patient has increased chance of DVT, patient has increased chance of pulmonary embolism or embolism in other areas like brain or other organs. So you have to be careful about it. As I said, the patient has cardiac problems. It continues, myocardial inflammation remains continue in the long term also, and such patient has increased chance of cardiac events in perioperative period. Lung damage, patient has permanent scarring in the lung because of corona infection. Patient remains with restrictive lung disease, and you have to plan intra-op ventilation, and sometimes patient require post-op ventilation also. Sometimes patient have post-intensive care syndrome, that is psychological issue. The patient have patient has post ICU psychosis and certain other psychological issues also. So you have to take care of all these things in perioperative periods. Sometimes there are other organ involvement, like patient has acute kidney injury which requires continuous treatment in the long term also. So what should we do? How we have to look at two things. How urgent is the surgery? If surgery is planned like hernia surgery or something like that, then you can wait for 2 months or 3 months or 6 months until patient recovered completely. And second most important point is, how was the course of disease? Like if patient was asymptomatic or with mild symptom, then you can wait easily for patient you can in that case you can take the patient immediately after a patient recovers from the COVID. Like you can do it after 8 days of COVID negative, once become patient COVID negative. But if patient has severe disease, then you have to wait for a bit longer period. So if we think logically, if patient is asymptomatic or mild symptom like our case 1, we can wait for 14 days. After 14 days, we should go for antibody test. This is important. There are two types of antibody, that is IgM and IgG. IgM is for immediate, it is because of immediate response of the immune system, and IgG is it remains longer for long-term immunity. So a patient has IgM, a patient has active disease, but once you see the IgG in antibody test, it is suggestive of a patient has developed immune response to the disease. So if you find IgG, increased number of IgG and reduced number of IgM, then you go for RT-PCR at the interval of 48 hours. Why twice? Because sometimes there are false negative results. So do RT-PCR 2 times at the interval of 48 hours. If you find negative in both the samples, then do routine investigation and go for surgery after 1 week or so. This is for asymptomatic or mild symptom patient. But if patient had severe disease, like patient went on ventilator, like our second case, then we have to think other things also. We have to follow the guideline of mild disease. Plus we have to look for the general condition of the patient. In the immediate recovery period, sometimes patient general condition is not good enough to tolerate a surgery. In such situation, you have to wait for surgery. You have to go for balanced decision. Suppose a patient require immediate surgery like malignancy surgery, otherwise patient may have secondaries at other place. In such cases you can do it in hurry, but otherwise you can wait. Like suppose patient require cholecystectomy or some fracture fixation, then you can wait in such cases. Mental status of the patient should be checked because patient might have post ICU psychosis. In such cases you have to treat it before going for surgery. HRCT, this is important. Even if patient is recovered, even if RT-PCR is negative, you have to go for HRCT and PFT, because patient might have recovered from the disease, but lung will take time to recover, and sometimes there is permanent damage and patient have restrictive lung disease. Then you have to plan accordingly. You have to plan for post-op ventilation if required. ECG and echo, it is very important because sometimes there is cardiac, in many cases there is some cardiac damage, and if you find some changes in echo as compared to previous one, then you can plan your anesthesia accordingly. Coagulation profile, again it is very important because there is hypercoagulable state during COVID infection as well as in the as well as after surgery. So you have to look for it. There is hypercoagulable state, there are more chances of DVT, more chances of pulmonary embolism. If you are doing oral malignancy with flaps, there are chances of flap failure because of microemboli in the microcirculation. So you have to look for it, and you have to start LMWH if required. We should screen for DVT because there are high chances even in younger patient, and we have to look for other organ involvement like kidney and liver. We have to do all those investigation, and then only we can plan the surgery if everything is under control. Otherwise we should wait. We have to take a balanced decision when to take such patient for any surgery. So this is like understanding the disease. There is no proper guideline, and we have to think according to the clinical condition of the patient. What precaution we should take while doing surgery? Suppose if after all these things we take the patient for surgery, then we have to take all possible precaution. Even if RT-PCR is negative, we have to take all precautions like PPE kit, N95 mask, shield, and all those things which protect us from COVID, because we never know whether we don't know about exact course of the disease, because COVID is not understood completely. Pathophysiology is not completely understood. So we have to take all the care, and we should protect the patient from reinfection, because there are reports of reinfection after COVID becomes negative. So we have to take care of the patient as well as of ourselves during surgery. So, to conclude my talk, there is no clear-cut guidelines. So we have to think rationally from patient. Management will vary from patient to patient, and we have to take proper decision. We have to practice safely till we get clear-cut guidelines. So this is all about doing surgery in recovered COVID patient. I think this will help all of you for taking decision in such patient. Thank you very much.